Hey guys, Jay here, and in this video I'm styling a wig for Toshiro from Bleach. The base wig I'm using is the Hades V2 from Epic Cosplay, and I put a link for it in the description. So this wig was a little more tedious to style using this base wig, so if you use it too, just be aware of that. There's just a lot more cutting than normal. I also stuck a lot more pins in this wig than I normally do. I actually have 7 in it, though one of them ended up falling out, but whatever. There's one on each side in the tabs that sit in front of your ears where your sideburns start, which are actually normal for every time I style a wig. But then there's also 2 in the forehead to the left and right of the center. I usually don't put any here, as I'll put it in the top center, which is called the crown of the head, but I didn't need to do that for this one because it has a spike there, and these 2 were actually much more important for this exact style. And last, something I normally never do, there's actually 3 pins running along the nape of the back of the neck. This will actually help hold it down here while I pull up on the hair when I'm cutting it, as well as it'll hold it in place while I'm styling it, but yeah. Anyway, with all that info done, let's get on to what I'm actually doing. The first thing I did, which you would see at the start when I was talking about all that stuff, was I separated the part in the bangs that I wanted to have it like do that flop forward thing that he has, and then I tied it off with a hair tie, and then I pinned through the hair tie to the wig head to keep this whole thing in place while I move the head around, so that it doesn't move while I style it. Also, a good thing to do before the bangs is to cut off the lace in the front. You have to do that anyway, and I didn't realize until afterwards that it was a lot harder to do once the wig was styled. So yeah, do that first. And as you can see, I'm using a razor blade to cut down the hair. And I'll let you know right now, this is dangerous. So in the description, I've linked a tool that does the same thing and is much safer to use. It's a comb with a razor blade inside of it, which is what will be used at salons to do this exact same thing to your hair. Usually these also allow you to open them and swap out to a new blade, but some don't. Just get whichever you like the best. This technique is to layer and thin out the wig so that it spikes up a lot better. I start closer to the base of the wig and I scrape towards the tips multiple times until it cuts the hair shorter. Honestly, this is the majority of the wig styling, and it's just extremely tedious. This alone took a good half hour, 45 minutes or something. So just keep doing this around the entire wig until it's the length that you want. Once that's done, I start actually styling it. Toshiro's hair isn't really spiked. I mean, it is, but it's not the same way like other characters that have spiky hair. This is more just a bunch of tufts and clumps of hair instead of having multiple defined spikes. So that makes this part super easy. I use hairspray on the wig, and I just use my fingers to push the hair up. And this is mostly just the front of the wig. The back half is just kind of there. I didn't really do anything to it. I do use hairspray on the back and kind of push it up, being careful not to expose the gaps in the netting. There's not really much to that. You're not really doing anything back here. You can't really see it in pictures anyway. And I'm not exactly sure how to explain what I'm doing other than pushing hair up all the way around the front. Basically, it's everything from about as far back as 3/4 of the way to the crown of the head. It gets completely pushed upwards, and then I kind of define the center spike here. I don't know how to explain that again, because you can actually see this in the design. He has like one separate one in the middle that you can see, and then I kind of just make the rest random clumps of hair. There's really no wrong way to do this. Just get that center correct, and then just floof up the rest, and you're good to go, really. Also, it's really good to remember that you can always stop what you're doing, try the wig on, and look in a mirror to see what else you might have to do to get this the way you want it to look. Now, you'll notice the camera view changes a bit here. This is because in order for me to keep trying it on and putting it back on the wig head over and over again, I need to move the camera. It's in the way of my mirror. Sorry. Anyway, as you can see, I just put the wig back on the head and continue cutting, and then do this a few times until I get the look that I want. Honestly, I have no idea how else to explain this to you, but you'll notice it when you try it on. If it's too long or whatever and it needs to be cut a little bit more, at which point you can put the wig back on the head and continue cutting. And then just do that over and over as many times as needed until you get something you like. But anyway, after doing that a few times, here is the finished product.